You are welcome to the second edition of the African Digital Leadership Innovation Network Tech Series 2021. The topic of our webinar today is Demystifying of Industry 4.0 in Africa with a special focus on the creative industry. My name is Kenneth Izamo. I'll be moderating this webinar today, and also I'm a co-founder of the African Digital Leadership Innovation Network. And moderating with me today from Uganda is Mr. Eugene Kavuma. Mr. Kavuma is the community lead at Motive in Uganda. Motive is East Africa's biggest makerspace that works with creatives in order to refine and scale their businesses to meet the demands of local and international markets. Mr. Eugene, you are welcome. Now, I would like to use this opportunity to welcome our esteemed speakers who have dedicated their time to join us today, and they will be sharing with us some very important attributes of using and exploiting digital technologies and innovation in the value chain of the African creative industry. And this includes as well the innovation and exponential perspectives, research and development, capacity building and job possibilities, and also some perspectives and insights on trade and investment sustainability. And also all this will be taken into account in our questions and answer sessions with our participants. Right now, I would like to use this opportunity to welcome our first speaker from Tunisia, Mr. Foelt Mana, who is a senior advisor in the creative industry in Tunisia. Mr. Mana, you're welcome. Thank you.
In terms of connection, internet connection, in terms of customer behavior and customer consumption behaviors, and in terms also of the techie creator. Are our creator techie or not? So this is a kind of problem that I'm facing with my customers, and of course, my approach is to start by having a growth mindset, shifting to have a growth mindset. Okay, first thing is to shift to have a growth mindset. Why a growth mindset is very important? Because the problem with Africa creative industry is that we are still localized industry. Okay, so we are still even either localized in Tunisia or localized in Kenya, etc. So we have a lot of potential, a lot of creativity, but we are still localized in our countries. And today with digital transformation, we need to have a growth mindset. And having growth mindset means, of course, adopting new business models, adopting new disruptive technologies, but also by globalizing and trying to elevate our global value chain. What I mean by global value chain. So creating a product, it's not sufficient today. We need to create a product and to sell the product and design the product. If we take, by the way, creative industry is huge. It includes a huge number of industry. So of course, there is the product and the creativity, but this is not sufficient if we don't, let's say, elevate these to industrial level either, or to sell this outside our countries. So what we said, globalizing. So, and this is a big problem that even China, for example, is taking hardly in concern and trying to shift from made in China in create to China. The same problem is addressed, for example, in South Korea. I think in Africa, we need to take the same approach. And so it's good to have, I'm sure we have creative people in Africa, but it's not sufficient. We need also to adopt the process on how to take this creativity and make it as very good product that we can sell in Europe and we can sell outside. And here we have a kind of, let's say, soft skills and hard skills missing to do that. Okay, from soft skills perspective, of course, there is the growth mindset, as I said. So if we are successful in our country, why not to go regional and then go global internationally? So this is first thing. Second thing, it's to how to go and to learn from European, from Chinese, from I don't know what, in order to know how they do R&Ds. For example, in our country, there is a lot of plants, a lot of lands, rare lands, etc. But we never try to take it from the to the mature product. So this is also something that we can learn, and learning not in sporadic way, in like very rare way, but in very strong approach from our countries and our continent in order to create a real let's say wave of creative industry products, African creative industry products known internationally, as I said. So the global value chain is very important, and in the global value chain, what we call the smile theory is to say that the most important is not to create the product. I'm sorry to say this, but the most important is to market the product, either to market product or to R&D, means to innovate in the product. And today, instead of only focusing on the old product, why? So we need really, and innovating, it means that R&Ds, etc., etc. And from selling also, it means that we need to digitize, of course, because without digitization, how we can sell abroad. And that's the first, I think, the first, for me, very important growth mindset and global value chain growth and position as African countries. Okay. For the second part is to act on people. I think from my side, based on my experience as a senior digital advisor, assessing hundreds of SMEs and dealing with hundreds of CEOs and people, creative people in fashion, etc. The problem is on the people, because here we have. I don't think, as a former Microsoft employee, that the technology is a problem. The technology, we can partner, we can find a lot of information, a lot of code, everything on the internet. We can partner with people. I don't think the technology is the problem. I think the problem is the people and the environment we are dealing with in our countries. First, the people. Why? Because the people, we need, as I said, to understand that we, as a creator, we need to empower our creativity with technology. If we are not able to grow our technology knowledge, then we need to connect, to collaborate, to search for people who can empower us, and then we can both create a network and create this global value chain by let's say connecting the different dots in terms of selling, in terms of platforms, in terms of technology, and in terms of creativity, because of course the creativity is the heart of the product. Then it's our environment. Our environment is really our most big challenge, I think. Okay, so especially for the regulation, for example, in the creativity, there is the IP part, the intellectual property part, there is the connection, there is the, of course, not a lot of, we don't have, let's say, the same level of maturity in our African countries in terms of internet connection, slow internet connection, the use of mobile, etc. But because today we are moving to the individual consumer, individual consumer. So we need this mobile and internet connection. But also, I think that today we need to no more weight our countries. We need to find a way to empower ourselves as creative industry by, and I know because Elon Musk is coming with his technology from satellite, so the problem, I think it will be resolved, but the problem is with the price. So did we have the right cost or the barrier to be able to reach the what we call the non-consumption market? Because today we have a good creative people in Africa, but it's non-consumption market because we have some barriers from IP perspective, from technology perspective.
That's a very good contribution. We appreciate, and from what you have said, Africa really needs to focus on the global value chain, and the most important is how to market our product and services, and of course exploiting digital innovation. R&D should be a watch point in terms of capacity development in Africa. We should have developed this growth mindset. And for the people, we have to empower the creativity of our people because the industry is really huge and there are a lot of talents everywhere, and we need to create awareness on digital innovations as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Floyd.
If I can close with one word. We say every company is a tech company. We need also to say every creative need to be a creator, need to be a techie creator.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much. And now we move to our next speaker. Eugene, please, I hand over to you now, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Manna. I wanted us to jump across to, as we come from the top of Africa, then move to West Africa, yeah? Sapara from Film One, yeah? You're currently doing a lot of sourcing, and which means that part of your role is identifying some really unique creative outputs that you then put onto the market and give a wider view to give like the world access to it. We are looking forward to hearing what your take on this is.
Okay, thank you very much, Eugene. Once again, hello everybody, my name is Mojisola Shapara, live and direct from Lagos, Nigeria. I work with the Film One Entertainment organization, and like I earlier said, we are an independent entertainment company focused on the production and distribution of film content within and outside the Nigerian territory. So specifically for us, over the years of starting off as an independent entertainment cinema distribution company, we've gone from the cinema, just distributing our movies in the theatrical market, to distributing our content globally. And we've seen that this has actually improved the quality of the production that producers have dished out over the years. I'd really like to say that most filmmakers in Africa, they literally independently source for their funding themselves. There is no government funding, we don't have a lot of private sector investors that just drop money for you to create a movie, because in the previous years, they've not seen the movie industry as a lucrative business like that. But now, thankfully to the cinema and the streaming platforms, we've seen that it can actually be monetized in various platforms. And also over the years of being a film distributor, I have seen that one of the most important things that producers don't know is the monetization of the film content. I would also say that for filmmaking, every aspect of filmmaking is very important, and it should be seen as equally important. The pre-production, the production, and also the post-production, and also the marketing, every aspect shouldn't be left out in filmmaking, because if you leave one aspect, if you focus on the quality of your movie and you don't focus on how the movie will be seen, how the movie will travel, you will probably not make so much from your content. You'll be able to monetize it. However, if you focus on just the monetization alone and you don't focus on the quality of your delivery, nobody would, buy your content, because what you have put together cannot travel. So I would also say that going forward in terms of innovation, I would say that we've seen that cloud devices is something that would just evolve over time, like the delivery of content to cinemas for showcasing and delivery of content to platforms. Most of the time, you have to deliver maybe through a hard drive, through a physical DVD, or just sending this through DHL or something. But now we've seen companies like Amazon constantly create cloud devices that you can drop your content on it and anybody can pick it from where they are and they can work from it. So going forward, I believe that filmmaking will actually become very digitalized, whereby you shoot your movies, all your rushes are dropped on a particular cloud devices, and everybody can pick it up from the editor, anybody working on it can pick it up from where they are, and they can begin to work on it. I would also say that the VR and also the hologram innovation that is also coming that we're going to embrace. I would also say that in Africa, one of the things that I believe that we need is policy, that we need to ensure that we are part of the policy makers to ensure that the creative industry is seen as an important industry, like the oil and gas, like the banking, because this industry creates huge value to the GDP of each country in Africa. We also need to ensure that we have constant training, constant education, constant promotion of our industry, because filmmaking, the filmmaking industry, the fashion industry, the tech industry, they are serious industries. Specifically in Nigeria, we saw that there was a ban of Twitter. The government banned Twitter recently, which a lot of people were not happy with. This was because a lot of people make their livelihood from those sources. They make their livelihood from the innovation that we have embraced, innovation that we have developed, and taking it down and doing that would not encourage people to want to create new things in the industry. So we should ensure that we are part of the policy makers, and we are constantly training and equipping ourselves with the required skills to ensure that we embrace innovation and we project that we are the next continent that can deliver quality.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That is right on time, and these are very valuable contributions. Mojisola, we appreciate your contribution. So we move now to the next speaker, going to East Africa, and Lane Bahati, please introduce yourself and your presentation. Thank you.
Hi, I'm trying to, can you hear me now?
Yes, please. Go on, please.
Hi everyone. My name is Bahati, and for me, I'm coming from the angle of interior design and furniture. That's where my powers lie. So for us, I'm going to speak mainly for Uganda, and I guess this can also push over to Africa. What we are doing right now, because for the last 3.5 years, the company has run online. We noticed there's like the last speaker said, there's a lot of change in how people view social media now. So what we've been doing is actually showing people the behind the scenes, because you see, it's very easy to create the product and put it up there. But the only way you can market this product for people to further take it on, even just by the experience, is if you can show them the process. So I think with digitizing the whole process kind of also pushes to market the item. I have a few notes, so if I look down, I'm just looking for my notes. And then also the other thing that I think would help us move better, because I actually think that we are in a place where we should be taking on digital innovation. We have the creatives, technology has been introduced. We just lack in a few areas. So with collaboration and partnerships from bigger powerhouses, say people in Europe, because I find that Europe approach is widely used and there are a few steps above Africa. Then if we did a bit of collaboration and innovation experiences together, then we are able to further push our creatives, especially the local creatives, because the biggest number of creatives in Uganda specifically is an older age, which is terrible at social media, terrible at even just the normal smartphone, right? So it is up to us, people like Motive, like Eugene's, innovation space, to further put these people on the market through collaboration and through innovation. And that way we're able to compete at a bigger level. The other thing that I think as a furniture company that we need is also to just partner with people who are already in the tech world, say people who do 3D designing, to also help further give people the experience. Like interior design, if I came into your space and then, got the idea of what I would do with your space and try to bring the dream to reality, my explaining it to you verbally does not do so much, because you see, it's still within my realm of experience. But if I worked with a designer, say a 3D designer, he'll help me render the imagination or the dream for you, in which, in this case, you're able to visualize it. By visualizing it, then you're able to buy into it, which again, I think most of us are not doing right now. And that's why it's very complicated right now to sell interior design as a service to a client. Yeah. So again, it's going to revolve around innovation and partnerships and, collaborations for us down here. So I am very much down for innovation spaces. We so far have about 3 innovation spaces that are very common in Uganda, and I've seen how much within a short period this has gone such, a long way. Because I find that the idea or the culture that because I've not studied or I don't have a bigger education, so I'm going to be jobless and be on the street, is very common. Was very common before this innovation spaces, but now because I'm actually a product of a school dropout, and if it weren't for perhaps some chances and opportunities where I picked from people that had done better, then I would never have something like this. So I find that with Motive, right, for example, young people, the youth, the creative people, the future of tomorrow can now be able to go to these spaces to be equipped with skill to, for their dream or for their vision to be innovated or further bettered. And this is going such a long way for us. I think if we keep taking these steps and even just increase the speed at which we're going with these innovational steps, then I think we will have a good chance at competing again. So again, I definitely think that we might not be ready system-wise, but we are ready if we keep taking the steps. The other thing, like the first speaker said, is also the mindset shift. The idea, because in Uganda, like I said, there's lots of creatives, or usually in Africa, I think, but sometimes you need just a nudge from our own, say, parliament or government to adopt that this is the trend. This is where we're at. We're in a global pandemic. The only way we can have a chance at growing our economy, at growing this whole, creative industry, is if we actually, say, invest in these people, create incubator programs, which in turn, when they award you a certain, amount of money, then you're encouraged, or you can then further produce your items and stuff like that. So I definitely think if we do with collaborations and partnerships and have a nudge from our own people and the government and change our mindsets, then we definitely have a good chance at this whole thing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say for now.
Thank you very much. That is right on time. And it's quite interesting to see the development from Uganda. And now we take on the next speaker, right from Milan. Andrea, you have some slides to present as well. Please, could you share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Andrei Golub. I'm Russian, but living in Italy, working in high-tech space and within creative industries. And so I wanted to show you something about what is here around. So just to have a benchmark of what is going on, and then to share my best ideas about how this could be spread and applied to the African reality. So just a few words about myself to make it clear that I'm totally digitally crazy engineer. I'm an entrepreneur myself, so several years in fashion technology, and my latest company is a startup known as Else Corp. You may want to find it on the internet. We did a lot of with 3D and artificial intelligence. I'm also an active contributor to different industry standards groups, like with IEEE SA, for standardization, and also in the creative industries, a member of different alliances and working groups, etc., etc. Also, I'm an inventor myself, have quite a lot of patents. So technical person who was born as a mathematician, but then became a creative person. How it looks like being creative and technical at the same moment. So this is my best view. I dedicated almost seven years to study and realization of this paradigm. Look, connection from CAD design, so 3D and digital design technology, to super nice visualization. It could be commercial, it could be just creative portfolio presentation, it could be, well, retail to sell, a B2B, a B2C, then specific tools like fitting, body fitting, feet fitting, scanners, things like that. And then especially artificial intelligence. This is latest 4 years, almost every project that we do is around AI, how AI can glue all things together. I will show later which are the things that I mean. And finally, the Industry 4.0. Now in Europe, where everybody is thinking only about the future, smaller factories, less impact on the environment, just on demand production, etc., etc. Not anymore overproduction, not anymore mass production, but something new and more ethical. So this is my best, how to say, horizon that I want to share, and also believe it is relevant to Africa. But let's see together how it could be, So first of all, in the design space, we talk about digital materials. Now we talk about 3D digital design and 3D prototyping. This is very important now, also to present one's talent, not to present ourselves. The collection, the production could be local, it could be or small quantities or industrial quantities, but the only way to reach, to go out of your local community or people that already know you, your region, is to go digital. So don't think of digital design as a practical technology to industrialize things. It's it can help unlock your creativity and then also reach the commercial purposes. So digital design, and now also on B2B level, which is a very good thing. Now on B2B level, we start accepting digital design. So 3D is becoming part of the platforms, for buyers, for worldwide communities. So this is a good way to connect to from a local environment to a more global environment. Then the factories. Once somebody needs to build a factory today, of course, it cannot be anymore the old style harming factory. It must be something very modern. I'm not talking only about robots, but in general, the level of Industry 4.0 that we already have, that some partners could help building and will be interested to building, it is very, very high. Then finally, the main argument that we yet didn't touch directly, but it is at the end coordinating everything, is the sustainability. Now, what is sustainability? And here I believe that this could be the true bet for Africa. Also in Europe now, everybody is going somehow to ethical, to modest, sustainable vision. Now, mostly we speak a lot about it, but doing is a different thing, because Europe is, people are more rich, have more money availability, not to spend on clothes, to spend on, in general, on the goods, even useless. But so the sustainable principles mean that we aim to produce as less as possible. No, we aim to understand who are the real customers, which are the real values of a designer. No, which is what is modest, ethical, sustainable, no, local, etc. All the things are now the main trend. And I believe so for such a great location and big anyway, but very specific as Africa, this could become the central point. No, so to building local ecosystems and connecting them globally, these ecosystems around these new values. No, it's not about economics. It's not about being just more creative, which is very difficult. It's about being focused on the new values, which are, from my point of view, are perfect now to this continent, unlike the West and the Europe is. Now, and finally, digital supply. I already mentioned. Let me just say that B2B is now accepting all digital. No, so you don't need to really go to a local fair to spend a lot of money on traveling to promote your collections. You can do everything digitally. No, so bottom line now, my main recommendation and well, the conclusion is that going digital. There is no other way. No. The only way to reach out the globe, and then especially going to Europe. Now, Europe is very close. Europe is now, as I say, crazy on these new values, now which are about sustainability, but those values are not so much born here. No, it's not European values. We are reinventing ourselves now. While Africa can come with these values that are true in the heart. No. And then, of course, looking for support, no? So local ecosystems and support of partners, of the governments, the building, of course, the relationship between incubators just mentioned, the universities, the businesses, to develop the skills. No, some other speakers already mentioned it. Now, the hard skills and soft skills. I think the hard skills now is a really must. Now, soft skills will help you navigate in this jungle, but hard skills, so the being at the same level, not worse, is a must. Otherwise, there is a risk to get disconnected. So these are my more or less main recommendations. Then maybe with the questions we can go deeper.
Thank you very much, Andre. And Eugene, please, if you have some questions for him, or introduce the next speaker, please. Andre, surely we have some questions for you, but we'll come back to you later. Eugene, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andre. I also wanted to point out that it's very interesting that the creative space, how the creative space is adjusting to moving away into the digital realm, which is hard, because creativity is almost always tangible, from construction to, like, the filmmaking process is so hands-on, the furniture making process is so hands-on, but what Mr. Manna said around the mindset shift, I'm looking forward to see how the conversation explains how that happens. Now, another part of the creative process is, of course, the experience. When you go to cinema, I was once told that the reason why it feels so euphoric when you watch a concert is that you're experiencing creation in the process. But now 3D is able to do that in some interesting ways. I want to introduce Danielle. Could you please take us through what you guys are doing for events and how you're transforming that creative experience, one that's almost akin to a worship experience, and then bringing it closer to the individuals who are no longer able to meet, especially within this current context?
Yeah, thanks, Eugene. Let me see, I'm actually going to share my screen. Let's see, switch this. There you go. Everybody see that?
Yeah, please.
So Virtual is the company that I work for. I'm the marketing director there, and Eugene said it perfectly. Our main focus is experience, right? So we have our own in-house 3D technology that's for workspaces, trainings, events. So let's just say that the last year and a half, all the organizations, event professionals they've just been hustling to make their events happen, trying out a variety of new technology, following new guidelines to keep their attendees, their clients, their employees engaged and comfortable. And there were some good front runners. Some people did a good job. They brought new solutions and they held on there. Video conferences like we're using right now, where they were the go-to in a moment of panic, and they were the easy option, but people started to become unmotivated. Zoom fatigue, and I don't say Zoom, we're on Zoom, but this is video conferences as well, any sort of video meeting platform. But Zoom fatigue is what's been termed and cited by prestigious universities like Stanford or New York Times, right? So this just showed that people were desperate for better virtual solutions. So let's say 2020 was focused on preventing loss with older solutions. It was a year of experimentation, but it ended in frustration for a lot of people. So we're turning the page in 2021, and let's say this is our year of innovation and application. Us as a company, we're seeing more people come. They're looking for ways to thrive and innovate in this new virtual, and not just virtual, hybrid landscape. Let me go to the next slide here. So what Virtual offers is this novel, innovative, and engaging way for companies, universities, agencies, any type of enterprise to carry out their online activities. We're doing this for more than 10 years. And we're dedicated to creating the most immersive event technology for virtual and hybrid events. As you can see with the statistics on the screen, we've been really busy, but none of those are possible without our partner program. Before I jump into the partner program, I just want to show you quickly, these are some of the major clients that we work with for repeat events. So take note, Microsoft is there. Microsoft has the Teams platform. So why would a company that has their own video conferencing platform be using Virtual? Well, they integrate it into Virtual, so they have the video conferences when need be, but they also have the immersive experience, the social experience, this integrated experience that they can't get on Teams, you can't get on Zooms. Facebook has VR. That's as immersive as it gets, right? But people don't have VR goggles, so this is where our platform comes in. So the success of these virtual events firstly comes from planners taking this digital first approach, focusing on the experience, but they need a deep understanding of the technology. So all of our partners, we have all over the globe, partners in different languages, different cultures, you name it. They are certified by us. We take them through the process. And it's not about replicating these live events or what you have in your head for a live event. It's about reimagining and creating this experience as close to real life as possible in the virtual world. So to show you a lot of reasons why we stand out from the competition quickly. We are the only platform that is available for mobile phones, tablets, any type of computer, 5-year-old Android, whatever it may be. If you have a decent internet connection, you can download the app and access the virtual world just as anybody else with the most expensive computer in the world. So one of our main focuses, I said before, was this user experience. So we also have 3D spatial audio. We want this as real life as possible. So you can hear who's speaking to your left and right as you get closer to the person. It's louder as you walk away, right? So it's just like real life, which is great for breakout activities, group work, team building, workshops. All of our scenes are completely customizable, branded, presentations, PowerPoints. You can see in the middle there, we talked a little bit about 3D design. So we can upload 3D elements. This one was created in art, but we can also upload 3D images. We have hologram opportunities. So the guy on the screen behind there, he's live streamed in. So it's just a hybrid event. We've recently have a partner that work with holograms, and they've been to integrate live human holograms into the virtual world. So you actually have a person walking on stage and doing their presentation in the virtual world. It's literally them there in the minute. Stands, I'm trying to go a bit quick here because we're going to run short on time, but interactive and engaging, right? This is, I've said this before, this is our focus. All of our avatars are fully customizable, any size, shape, you name it. You want blue hair, you can have blue hair. You can make your avatar to look as much like you as you want, or as much as your imagination would like. They clap, they show emotions, they raise their hands, they can sit down, they can dance. So it really creates this opportunity for serendipitous networking. So people say in real events that they never get from these virtual events is, you know, the coolest person you meet sometimes is the person standing behind you at the coffee shop or sitting next to you at the auditorium. And you don't really have this opportunity in video conferencing, but if you come into the virtual world, you do. You still have to change rooms. You have to go to different places. So you still have this opportunity for this serendipitous networking, and you can break away and have your private conversations. And each avatar is equipped with a profile, which is actually your like virtual business card. So you can still exchange business cards within these events as well as you meet new people. We also obviously supply participation and engagement metrics. Just a quick image, summits, conferences, but what makes companies like Microsoft, like Google, like Facebook come back to us are these social and immersive experiences. So they have their conferences, they have their training, they have their team building, but on the side and in between, they have social activities like you do in real life. You know, you don't sit in an auditorium for 5 hours. You have opportunities to go speak to other people or play a game or whatnot. So we've got activity rooms, rooftops, beaches, festival areas, you name it, escape rooms and obstacle courses. We actually have a partner before the pandemic where they were in-person escape rooms and these types of activities. And since the pandemic came, obviously, they've created like 5 different escape rooms within the virtual world, and they sell. People love them. I mean, so it's taking this creative mindset of someone that thought, oh, I'm doomed, right? And putting it into this virtual platform, and it works. It works. You know, we've got these game rooms. You can play cards, blackjack. We've got darts. This is one of the escape rooms from the top. It takes about an hour to get through. We have wipeout courses that are really fun and actually more difficult than you think they would be. So you have to get your avatar over to the other side. Football matches. You know, it's unorganized pickup matches, but it's fun. And the most, I would say, asked for events for a lot of these trainings or conferences is the concert areas. So they add the after party, the social hour. People have contracted DJs. They do live stream live music, and your avatars can dance. We have like 10 different dance moves for your avatars, so you can actually go in there and enjoy the music. Maybe grab a glass of wine or what may be, and you sit at your computer, but you have this social part to the event at the end. I'm running short on time. You can check the website out for more stuff. The successful events are on there, but yeah, I'll finish with that. You know, we do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was quite a very interesting presentation, really. It demonstrates how digital innovation could help in really expressing different scenarios, you know, and showcasing the potentials of creativity. Thank you very much. And we introduce now the next speaker, Eugene, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Daniel. It's interesting. Experiences are difficult to stop talking about, you know, because you live them, and what you guys are doing is very interesting. The next part of a lot of the conversation we've been having specifically around in our geographical location in Africa deals a lot with what the people in power are able to respond to. What are the policies like? What are the tax regulations like? In Uganda, we just recently got rid of a law that was tax. It was called the Lugambo law, which translates into the gossip law. Like our dear leader decided that we're spending too much on social media, too much time on social media, so we started to have it taxed. So issues around policy are always important, and I would like to introduce Obi Asika, who is the national coordinator for the working group on the creative industry in Nigeria. I was recently in Lagos, and it does seem like the government there is always playing whack-a-mole with all things creative and innovative. I want to hear, Obi, what's the situation like? What's the working group doing, and what should we look forward to coming out of Africa's most popular state? Obi?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, no. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Sorry, I got here a little bit late. I should clarify, I'm not government. I mean, I'm private sector. I was listening to Mojisola earlier, and she was talking about, oh, can you hear me if I drops out? Can you hear me? Did I drop out?
You can.
You can hear me?
Yes, please. Go on.
I seem to have having some kind of internet bad connection here. Can you guys hear me?
Go on, please. Yeah.
All right, okay. So what I was basically saying was that in terms of the Nigerian situation, the technical working group has been working for maybe about 6 months last year. And we were able to see that we ran focus groups across the sector. I mean, some of the highlights I should just pull out were that, I mean, in Nigeria, the creatives are going to hit about $100 billion contribution to the economy by 2030, regardless of whether the government steps up with the right policies or not, which is really part of the big message we were giving to them. The technical working group is really made up of about 25 people from senior industry leaders. And we looked at, Mojisola was saying something earlier, should be happy to know that the creative industries are one of the 8 high growth areas of the Nigerian economy that is actually part of the national plan for the next 30 years. And it's the first time that this sector has actually been on the front burner of national planning. So it's good for us to be in there with the financial industry, with the bankers, with the technology, digital economy, agriculture, education. These are some of the key sectors that Nigeria is moving on. I'm a member of something called ISN Hubs, which has 120 hubs as members in Nigeria. That's the Innovation Hub Network of Nigeria. So I work across many spaces: innovation, the creative industries, film, television, music. And what we can see is, funnily enough, a lot of people don't realize the fashion industry in Nigeria is actually the biggest segment of the Nigerian creative industry, running at about depending who you talk to, is about $8 billion in 2021. And it's growing significantly. I was very interested in what Andre was talking about, because if you look at Nigeria and you look at the AFTCA and what's really coming on the continent, what we're needing to see is connected ecosystems. We need many more digital platforms that can enable us to actually unlock our capacity. If you were sitting in Nigeria, you would know that Nigeria has already created significant digital influencers who are literally small digital nations in their own right. So there are many of these people that have 10 million, 15 million followers. I can actually put together a list of 20 million people that have 150 million followers combined, and they're just sitting in Nigeria. But the thing about it is they don't have products, they don't have merchandise. And that's because there's a disconnect. There's a lack of trust between the people who can produce it, who are sitting in Aba and in Newi and in Kano, and the people who have the brand value sitting in Lagos. So really, we begin to need to look internally and build those bridges. The key issue about Nigerian products is how are you going to deepen it, how are you going to monetize it beyond the first line engagement. So there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot going on. I think the interesting thing is that in Nigeria, it is driven primarily by the private sector, and people have built what they have built in spite of government, right? So government is beginning to sort of get involved. Perhaps the most important issue for me, looking at Nigeria and maybe across the continent, is the issue of IP as collateral. Because if you're sitting in Europe or you're sitting in America or in wherever, you can get backing for your ideas. So, you know, in Africa, you might have to go and bring your great grandmother to get the collateral for you to actually get your ideas backed, because you can't get, they don't yet understand that IP is actually the key issue. So in Nigeria, we'll have a big lobby group on the central bank and all these people to see what can you guys do. I mean, Afrexim has announced $500 million. We asked the CEO directly, what does that mean? Are they gonna have to go and bring their grandmothers? How do they access this money? How does the SME in Africa actually access all these programs that are being announced? Film House and Film One will always be able to access it because they're already they're an organized player. But the smaller individual players, the writers, the creators, the authors also need to be backed, because that base IP is what everybody's building on. In terms of, the other thing I'd like to sum up and say is that in terms of what is happening on the continent, we need to embrace technology for a number of reasons. Number one, for education. Number two, for skills. Lynn was talking about this, and the key thing is we have a lot of intuition on the continent, a lot of talent, but that talent is, you know, it's like the editor who learned how to become an editor from playing computer games, right? He still didn't have the final finish because he didn't actually quite finish. So sometimes we're still sort of guessing, a lot of guesswork involved in getting to the final product. And I don't think Africans should be shy about that, because you come a long way in a short period of time. The key thing for me is, I think that, you know, some people think, oh, my originally come out of the Nigerian music industry and we're part of blowing that up to the world. And people think all the time, the music has arrived. And I tell them, no, it's just starting. You know, I think we have to understand that we're just starting. You know, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Ghana, the most developed media market for me is South Africa. Then you're looking at maybe, you know, Egypt. Then you begin to look at Kenya and Ghana before you even get to Nigeria. So in Nigeria, we're just starting. And when we actually begin to get to 20, 30% capacity, then it'll be very difficult for people to hold us back. So I think that in Nigeria, these sectors, and almost every sector in Nigeria, is producing what they're producing in spite of their environment, right? Not because of their environment. It's not because of something the government is doing. It's because of the ingenuity and the human talents of the people in these sectors who are driving activity, and the entrepreneurs who are investing from the base up on a daily basis. And that is really the key driver in Nigeria for the creative industries, for the innovation sector, for everything that is happening here that is positive. And hopefully we will see a situation where, you know, the policymakers, as somebody mentioned earlier, will actually step up fully to partner with the private sector. Because the key thing the policymakers need to do, in a way, is sort of stay out of the way and focus on smart regulation, you know, not try to regulate creativity or innovation, just sort of stay out of the way and let it happen. You know, yes, you know, I mean, the Twitter ban and all these things, those things are just, to be perfectly honest, it was always coming. It wasn't even, it's more of a strategic thing. Twitter will be back. And when they get Twitter back, what they want from Twitter is that Twitter has, which actually most countries want from Twitter, is that Twitter has an office in their country, Twitter pays VAT, Twitter has some sort of arrangement that the government can reach them and say, okay, if we've got a problem with this, you can take it down. But, you know, we're Africans, we're dramatic. So, you know, somebody felt the need to be dramatic, but I don't think that will actually stop anything, and it hasn't stopped anything. It just made a lot of VPN companies a bit of money. So that's all I'm saying for now. I did have a presentation, but I didn't think it was necessary. I hope you could hear me because I'm worried about my internet.
Thank you.
You guys hear me?
Thank you.
All right, great.
I appreciate your presentation. It's quite interesting to see what is really happening in the Nigerian space, especially in the creative industry. Surely I will come back to you some few questions during our discussions. So quickly now we move to the next speaker, Blessing Ebere. Please introduce yourself and Blessing, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, please, go on. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry I came in a bit late, but I joined in when I think interesting conversation about what is happening in the creative sector and what my brother Obiasika is saying. My name is Blessing, and I'm the MD of 360 Creative Innovation Hub. And what we do in 360 is that we create an enabling environment for young designers and creative entrepreneurs to come in and use resources at a pay per day or accessible rate as they feel like. So, and you ask why creative, why fashion designers? Like Kobe has said, we have some fundamental issues, and some of them are we tend to start our business from start to finish. So we play in all the value chain without understanding that, yes, if you want to play so well in your sector, you need to play where you have the biggest skill, or maybe where you have the biggest capacity, and then you look for a way of getting collaborators and supporters that will help you to drive growth. So we started co-working space in the fashion and creative industry because we needed to give fashion designers a space and creative a space where they can come in and learn, access resources, collaborate, and be able to drive their business. So we provide them an end-to-end solution for them to grow their brand. That is what I do for now, and my name is Blessing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Blessing. Thank you for your contribution. We appreciate. We'll come back to you with some few questions in the next interactive section. So we take now our next speaker, Marcin Jablonski from Poland. He is the coordinator of the Polish cluster ecosystem. You're welcome, please, Marcin.
Thank you. I'm Marcin Jabłoński. I'm the Vice President of Chamber of Commerce, Exporters and Importers in Poland, and strongly linked to the creative industry for many years. My previous, as one of my education degrees, is related to theater. So I work with in theater and radio station for many years. Right now I more deal with the more economic aspect of our environment, but also I am strongly committed to the Africa. I work in Africa since 2012. First I started with the North Africa, and then shifted to West Africa, so the Abidjan, Guinea-Conakry, and that's and also I am the mentor of the project, the Next Society, run by the Barcelona. It's a project dedicated to help the MENA countries to develop the clusters. So that's why what I want to add, because I found your presentation really impressive, but I think that the one ingredient of this dish is missing. This is the question of building the community. Of course, Obi mentioned about the innovation hubs, but in fact, if I look at the Africa and the African development from the perspective, from the distance, I see a lot of similarities from the similarities with Polish development. The Poland was a country which was in 1989 in ruin. It was almost, ground zero after the Soviet Union times. Our economy was even lower, even worse than Ukraine ones. Right now, we are the quite decent country with the well-developed countries inside the United Europe. But what we have the situation is I think this the one thing which is very similar that in what I found in Africa, that there's a lot of creative people with a lot of real good ideas and initiatives, but they work most of all alone. They are all separate from other people. They are afraid, as Polish also afraid. They are afraid their ideas being stolen. That they are afraid, to share their knowledge, to be taken advantage of them, and so this is a lot of afraid, which fright with what I found in Africa. So it's what also concerns me in that the people are try to face together, to look. They are more keen to look for the support, external support from the outside Africa, than to look for the support inside, even our communities or others. So I think that the key problem and the key challenge for Africa is to build the communities, to switch this lonely creative people into the big communities. If you, for example, have the benchmark, we can look, for example, for the Ile-de-France region. It's close to Paris. It's a Cap Digital. I really was impressed of the development of this small hub, which turned to the big cluster, and now it's a community. It's a community. Is something more than cluster, because the cluster is dedicated to the companies, and of course to the government, self-government, other, and the agencies. But the community is to involve the single person, no matter whether they are entrepreneurs or not, because the advantage of the community is to look for the tacit knowledge, the knowledge which is really help us to do to implement our ideas more efficiently than if we don't have this knowledge. So I think this is the big challenge. I try to cooperate because I want to highlight the word try, because the cooperation is I think this is the cooperation, the peer-to-peer cooperation. This is also the task for Africa, not to be the client-server relation. It should be the peer-to-peer. You can offer a lot of your creativity. You have a lot of resources, good ideas in fashion, in graphic design, interior design, everywhere when you need to use your brain. This is the only resource they need to have the special equipment. This is the resource we have inside. So I think the biggest challenge, and also for ADL in that, this is the challenge to help to create the sustainability in the support of turning these ideas, bringing out of the brain and implement directly in Africa. Not to, like I discussed with my friends from Tunisia, they help the Tunisian companies to set up in France. Or what is the purpose of export your knowledge? Your knowledge, as it was mentioned before, should be stay in Africa, because otherwise the process of development of Africa will be like a copy-paste China one. So the Chinese were very smart, because this is the way of thinking of the Chinese. So they build, they copied, they developed and transit and turn their economy from the production into the creation. And that's, I think that you should, this is the challenge, to stop or to interrupt this process and to really focus on the creation from the very beginning. Try to invent, especially you have the, I think that you can't have the electricity, but you have the access to the wireless internet. So having the access to the internet means having the access to the whole world.
Thank you so much, Massimi. I like how you touched on one of the things that here at Motive we are observing, that the average creative prefers to work in a silo. And that means that things that they are not aware, the needs that they have, they actually cannot be able to access them. I would like to introduce Kayode Yahaya. From what I understand, he understands business. And there's a strange thing here, is that more likely the average creative would prefer to shy away from having to do anything with the money-making thing, and yet that's what grows you and takes you to the next level. Yahaya, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much, Eugene. How are you too?
I'm good. I'm wearing a t-shirt, and Kenneth is in a suit and tie.
It actually was, you know, I didn't know how to, present it.
That's a dimension of fashion.
Very good. Okay, good morning, everyone.
The floor is yours, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Kayode Yahaya. I'm an artist and I'm an engineer. And I am the founder of Music Echo. Basically, Music Echo is a music ecosystem for artists. So when artists, want to promote their music, whether by radio or other mediums, they would normally find OAPs, which is the on-air personnel, DJs, promoters, etc. But the problem is these industry gatekeepers, they take advantage of these artists. They never actually get what they want. I mean, there's a lot of pain, you understand, that we all kind of overlook, but these artists really go through it. So we created a web application, and what it does is it connects artists, creatives, directly to the decision maker at the radio, at the playlisting, or whatever services that they're looking for. I mean, of course, if their music is good enough. So I've created a slide, or rather, I'm adapting a slide. I can do that real quick. Okay, so basically we're a distribution company, we're a distribution platform, we're dedicated to amplifying the voices of musicians. We wanted to create a marketplace for everybody, but we're aware that we need to create a minimum viable product that can allow the sites sort of morph into whatever is necessary, within these base products. It's not been an easy journey, to be honest, because to find an investor who would be able to financially back Music that will give us time to pick up traction before expected a return on investment is impossible. So this is a minimal viable product, and it stems from the fact that artists are very dissatisfied with the radio service. The problems, there are many problems. There are limited agencies, it's expensive, there's payola, there's a lot of monopoly with big labels, discrimination, and the rest. And that's where our own value proposition, I think, is going to help, these creatives get to their destination faster. And it is basically that we are challenging the inequality in the music industry. I would love if you can check us out. We've picked up traction in terms of the stations that are actually want to be part of this, in terms of, yes, they want good content, they want a dashboard where they can view music, download music, upload it into their system, and interact with new artists every day. We have about 1,000 subscribers. I'd love for you guys to check us out. You can give us referrals. The idea for this platform is fantastic, and we're full support of it. So thank you so much. I'll drop our websites in the chat section. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayode. That was quite on time, and a very valuable contribution, especially using a digital platform to facilitate interactions between product developers, music producers, and of course the sponsor, and of course the end users, and which is very, very vital. It's valuable, really, in the value chain, And of course, you see that your digital platform helps to create reach. It creates more visibility, and it helps the producers to move quickly to the market. And this is one of the key points of digital innovation. And you are right on track. Please keep doing what you are doing. And we're trying to introduce now our next. I think we're all covered right now. So we really move now to the discussion sessions, really. We need to ask ourselves a very realistic this question: is Africa ready for digital innovation in the creative industry? Citing what we have all presented, some key issues, and if we are ready, what are the next steps for Africa in resolving the key issues that some of us have really pointed out, some of the speakers have pointed out today? So, Mr. Obi Asika, I would like you to take the first shot, because you are well positioned. You are in the ecosystem of a national working committee in Nigeria, and Nigeria has very huge creative industry base. So from all what we have discussed today, and from what you have, some insights you have, are we ready? Is Africa ready, exploiting digital innovation? And what is really missing? What are the next steps? What can we do? How can we move this industry forward? I'm going to unmute you now, please. Yeah,
okay,
over to you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I think not only are we ready, we're post-ready. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if the creative industry is not engaged in digital, it's going nowhere. That's just, it's as simple as that. I think that they are actually totally connected industries. In the way we were working in the National Working Group, there's a full working group on the digital economy. The digital economy is booming and will continue to grow massively. In terms of what we're seeing in the Nigerian creative industries, beyond the fact of hubs networks on the innovation side and what's happening with music, television, film, all the different segments, fashion, art, culture. The other key thing is we need many more platforms, right? We need more platforms, we need more digital marketplaces. We need to connect our ecosystems and supply chains. There was a slide that Andre had up. I took a picture of it because basically in one slide, he pretty much had it in a straight line. That is the key issue in Nigeria. You will see disconnected marketplaces. So we have raw leather being produced in Kano and exported direct to Milan. It doesn't reach Aba, where the guys who are making 60,000 pairs of shoes a week are. So, we have to find the ways to sort out internal supply chain. We have to find the ways to build trust so that the people who are creating the innovative products and cultural goods can partner with the massive digital brands we already have in Nigeria. So if I have Davido and he can make, Davido action figures, in Aba, I'm sure I can sell 10 million of those action figures just in Nigeria. I don't even have to get into West Africa. Do you understand? So the thing about it is, it's really about engaging. And there was something that Blessing said. I think that the fundamental to everything is education, right? That if we educate the younger kids with STEM education, digital skills, coding, software, so they can be freed up to begin to create, right? They can work from wherever they are. They can join the gig economy globally. They can work from their villages all across Africa into the global gig economy. They can provide, somebody said it, our Polish friend said it, it's the age of ideas. People talk about Nigeria all the time, about our oil, about our gas, about all these things. The number one resource in Nigeria is Nigerians. It's not our natural resources, it's our human resources, it's our IP, it's our knowledge base, it's our culture, it's our creativity. It's the fact that we have more cultural festivals than any country in the world. We have 500 languages. So we are actually sitting on a complete gold mine of stuff. And the world has only begun to sniff a little bit. So when we talk about the Jollof Wars, I always laugh because I'm like, Nigerian cuisine is just starting to come to the world. I love Ghana jollof, you know, jollof is even Senegalese originally. It doesn't actually matter. The point is that Indian food in the UK makes more money since 10 years ago in the British steel industry, the British car making industry, and I think the British shipbuilding industry. And that's what they call the revenge of the empire. That is the kind of power that sits in Nigeria. We have the ability in Nigeria and on this continent to take the world with our soft power. That's what I believe, that's what I do. And I think that at the end of the day, it's about seeing, we have to vision it, we have to see it. We can't be, you know, there's something that Andre said and Martin said, you know, I grew up in England. I remember the situation in Poland in 1989. I remember how people looked at Poland, look at today. I remember how Ireland was looked at, look at Ireland today, right? One generation can change the entire conversation. And Nigeria is blessed, most importantly, with a country that is 50, 60% under 24. So we have this enormous youth bulge and we've got to unlock them. And we've got to put, for me, the focus for me, if I was in government, my focus would be on digital. Because once you give them those skills, they affect multiple industries, yeah? They will not just affect the digital industry, they'll affect the creative industry, they affect the fashion industry, they affect logistics, they affect everything. Manufacturing, merchandising, wholesale, distribution, and build trust. Trust and transparency are the number one thing we all need to be able to trade. What Kaide is talking about is trust. What anybody's talking about in the Nigerian environment is trust. Can I see my product? Can I get revenue for my product? If I get revenue for my product in Nigeria, I don't need to go anywhere. Do you understand? When you see the Nigerian musicians touring the world every single day in the world, it's because they can't tour in Nigeria yet. The minute Wizkid can tour in Nigeria and do 40 stadiums, which we actually have, he's going to relax and chill in Lagos. Because how are you going to get him out of Nigeria if he's making 100, 250, 400 million a week? You're not going anywhere. Do you understand? So we have to build our own internal value and understand what really it is. And when you understand what it is, then you build collaboration, because there is no, anybody staying in silos in 2021, they're completely missing the point.
Yeah.
Collaboration is the only hope for either the SMEs, anybody who's trying to unlock ideas, because what you really have to do is to make yourself discoverable, right? I just opened my hub in Onitsha. Why did I do that? I've been busy in Lagos for 20 years trying to, exploring the Lagos scene. But I said, wait a second, I got to make that place discoverable. Yeah. I got to have a situation where people, okay, why is he going there? What's going on there? What happens there? You understand? And that is what we all have to do wherever we are on the continent, because the truth of the matter is we're all competing for attention. Yeah. And if you can't actually make anybody want to come to your place or find out what's going on in your place, nothing's going to happen, right? Because there's talent everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry, Obi, I cut you. I wanted to highlight.
Feel free, man.
I wanted to highlight that point around, the value of collaboration. So at a personal level, you need to collaborate. If you're producing music, you could be all, but it probably works out better if there's someone else writing and someone else performing and someone else creating the beats and etc. But if you extract that and you look at that from a higher level, for example, at a national level, you need a lot of systems to collaborate. You need the right policies, you need electricity, and then you need internet that doesn't go off when the president feels like I feel it's not working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lynn can relate because that's a regular experience.
Yeah, you don't get cut off by the internet.
Yeah, this would be a good point for the internet to drop out. But so you need all of these systems working quite well together to actually be able to deliver the 4IR into the creative space. I want to bring Lynn into this because one, I know that you have the experience of this place. Do you think we're actually ready to step into that space and actually deliver the opportunities that are currently present in our space?
So I actually think that we the creatives are actually very ready. We almost have created a movement. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, we've created almost a huge movement. If you know a place in Kampala, that's the city of Uganda, there's almost usually about 20 to 30 creative people, and each of them knows someone that is creative. So I think the creatives are ready. But like you highlighted before, we have bigger systems that are holding us back. Say, for example, the policy and regulatory systems are not even looking at all these things, they're not doing a good job, say, protect these innovation spaces or invest in them. So we almost have to do it single-handedly as a creative, which is very quite hard, right? Because the reason it's quite hard is because you're already facing a backlash from your own government or own country. And even when you're lucky, you have to go through a lot. I have to know someone, say, from Lagos who's willing to go through the same hurdle as I go, which is the government and the country and the internet. And I don't know all these policies, to get to have a space that is good, So I personally think we're ready, creatives, but I think the government needs to do better for us. But still, I still have this another belief that if they don't do it for us, we're going to push further. One day we're just going to, blow into this whole thing and then do better. But yeah, I think we're in a good place and we can keep pushing. If we can keep pushing as the creatives, we're going to get a break one day.
Sapara, I want to ask you something. Sorry, no, in a brief moment. I wanted to ask you something, Sapara. The adoption of from the film space, I find myself often watching YouTube and Netflix and etc. on my phone actually, which has two social implications. Are you seriously using your phone for the right thing? Is that the best thing you could do with your telephone and etc.? So how are we combining what we can extract from the devices that we have from the Internet of Things versus, and this question may not exist but it occurred to me, how is our culture, and I know that it's very diverse across the continent, how is it collaborating or hindering the adoption of all of these things? How would you say that is happening?
That's actually a very interesting question. So for us here in Nigeria, in terms of turning out content that is affecting our culture, I think we mainly produce content that tells who we are, content that speak our story, content that show who we are here in Nigeria. So and for us, I think people produce content for various reasons. People produce content to make people laugh. People produce content, there's comedy content. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes, we can.
People produce content for various reasons, and there are comedy content, romantic content, there are action-packed content. So it's really diverse. The demand for content is in different ways, and people are drawn to different content depending on their personality and depending on what they want to be fed with per time. So for us here at Film One, we understood that, and which has made us to also create our video on demand platform. We have a video on demand platform called Filmhouse Plus. We through that platform, people are able to watch different blockbuster movies. They are also able to book their tickets, book their make payments, rather than coming to the cinema and standing on long queues. So we're giving you an opportunity to watch movies that have trended or that are still trending, as well as book if you want to experience the cinema, if you want to have the cinema experience, you can pre-book your ticket, you can pre-book your meal and go to the cinema and just walk in and just show your receipts and you're there. So I believe that in the creative industry, specifically in the film industry, we've seen a lot of innovation because of the demand for good quality content, like I mentioned earlier. There's a demand for good content. There's a demand for feature film. There's a demand for short films.
Yeah.
We can see a demand for animation, which is actually the next big thing. So, like I could also agree with a lot of the speakers in terms of training, in terms of skill development. We don't have there are a lot of creative animators in Nigeria. Like I worked with some few months back. They are so creative. They are young boys sitting in Aba, sitting in Enugu, sitting in Ogun State, 16, 18 years old, and they are hugely skilled with this thing. But there's no opportunity here in Nigeria, and I believe across Africa as well, in terms of tapping into that skill, in terms of giving them the right resources, paying them the required fee for them to be able to give the best of themselves. So I also believe that the demand is there, but we don't have some of the right equipment in place, because right now there is a lot of focus on just the film production in terms of the human element of production side of it. So I believe that people demand for different type of content, and they go to their phone to watch and view different content that pertaining to their own taste.
Their own tastes and preferences.
Preferences at the moment.
So that's an interesting switch because I wanted to move away from culture. Sorry?
I wanted to add to what she was saying.
Yes, and to remind you, the question is our culture supporting this adoption process, or is it fighting against it? And
I think
the awareness that it's not the same thing. Africa is not one culture.
Yeah,
like generally.
Yes. So I would say that our culture is supporting this innovation, because there is huge demand for originality. There is huge demand for who we are. We want to see ourselves being portrayed. Like I was having a conversation with somebody recently about the African American movie that blew up. The name just skipped my mind. The movie that blew up. The maybe movie that blew up. I'm
Black Panther.
Black Panther, yes, that blew up, and just
what
it blew up was yeah, the reason why I know, right? Like it just skipped my mind. Sorry. The reason why it blew up was because there was a demand for originality. There was a demand for people wanting to see themselves being expressed on television, in stories. So for Africa, for Nigeria, we love when we see ourselves tell our stories. We love when we can relate to the stories. We love when we can see ourselves wear our clothing. We love when we can see ourselves say in our different slangs. So there is the culture is actually supporting the content that is being turned out, because you see last year, December, there was a particular movie called Omogeto here in Nigeria. The GDP, the gross box office rate was over 600 million naira. And it was an original content. It was a content that it was a comedy content that portrayed ourselves, portrayed who we are. People longed for that content. It was the end of the year. People have just, had a bad year running with the COVID. And this movie was very instrumental to the, I believe, to the mental health of some people in terms of, just showing people that on how they can relax and how their selves is being portrayed in the movie. And everybody could relate to the movie. It was an interesting one. So I really believe that the reason why our movie industry is trending now and why there's a huge demand of it is because of the originality of our content and because the people who are the consumers want to see
demand for it.
Yeah, there's demand for it. People want to see themselves being portrayed in this content.
All right, thank you so much.
I wanted to add something to that. Because I think what she's saying is 100% correct, but I think there's a whole other dimension to this, which is not being touched on, and that's really the power of social media, okay? Because what YouTube enabled and what social media enabled is to kill what Kaide was talking about for Black people globally, which is the gatekeepers. If you're Black and you've been making content since the 70s, 80s, your ability to get commissioned in the UK or the States is very, very minimal, and has always been, even in 2021. If you look at the wider industry. But then what has happened since about 2007-8 is just this enormous explosion of Black content, African content on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, right? Because these people are storytellers. They're not filmmakers, but they are storytellers. So when you are asking about the culture, I would say that Africans are natural storytellers, and they are telling stories on every single kind of device available to them. And they tell stories through many different cultural lenses. So they tell stories through dance. TikTok is basically affected totally by dance. Dance is really, and it's really the Black kids, right? So unfortunately, we don't own shares in TikTok, but we affect it, right? Same thing with Instagram, okay? If you go into Versus or some of these things that happened in the last 12 months, these are Black. Instagram had to re-engineer its processes to be able to do IG Live for the streaming, okay? So this is what we do. We affect every single platform we touch. And that is something unique to our DNA, because I think we are naturally built like that. So when we touch something, we remold it to our own self. And that's really what she's talking about. So that's, everybody wants to see themselves. The Nollywood came first and inspired the continent. So you got Kannywood, you got the guys in Uganda, the guys in Tanzania, and Angola, and Ghana, in Zanzibar. They're telling their own story, right? They don't have the budget, they don't have the technical skills, but they're telling their own story. Whether they're telling it with a mobile phone or they're telling it with a big production set, they're telling stories. So the sketch guys on Instagram, you can't talk about African content without those guys. Those guys are literally generating billions of views, right? Becoming commercial brands and showing us that there's another way to tell a story, So the thing about it is, I think in Africa, we are the mother of innovation, even though people in Europe may not accept it.
Oh yeah, and I would like to also
love to European people, man.
You bring up an interesting point around the platform.
Thank you.
I would like to also add that it would be interesting.
Sapara, we would like to move on to something else briefly. There's something that Obi picks up on, which is platforms. One of us here actually, Audrey has you mentioned TikTok, you mentioned YouTube. These have been avenues that once you've made the creation, you've then distributed it to other people to consume. And there's always that tricky question that if a tree falls in a forest and there was no one to hear it, did it actually fall? So the platforms tend to sort of fix or figure that bit out. Audrey, I wanted to bring you into this. You've created a digital platform for training. How does that fit into the 4IR and where the creative scene right now is across Africa?
I think that question is in the context of the presentation of Andrea from Milan. Andrea, please. And I think what it tries to say is that you have a very interesting digital platform for fashion design, in shoe designing and stuff like that. And how could this already support the ecosystem in Africa in terms of capacity enhancement, digital training, and of course, how your platform could already be used in the ecosystem to support the African competencies. So Andrea, please.
I'm Neblet, yes, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, please, yeah.
Okay. No, first of all, to make it clear that in my presentation and my experience, I mentioned the platform, the industrial platform. It's not for creativity and development. Anyway, let me comment and then say what I think. So what we did is on this direction, digital platform is development of a digital ecosystem approach, for the industry. So I repeat, in our case, it's not yet extended towards the creative part. We have the designers, sure, they can present their sketch from sketches to final products, but basically the goal is the commerce, is to come up to brands, to buyers, to enable them involving designers at the early stage. Our platform is very powerful, very rich tool. Yeah, who is interested, I can then share more information to connect the industry. So it is for designers, brands, buyers, retailers, franchisers, stores, etc., and up to manufacturers. Our goal there is to really interconnect everybody. And this digital platform, it's only a top level of what you can see, but there below what our company is doing is a full, let me say, vision for digital transformation. Also, how to enable this ecosystem exchanging data already in digital. We adopted and deeply dive into the concept of digital twin, which is a twin of a real product, but in our vision, it's on the contrary. A real product will be a twin of this digital product because it's created first. So there is a collection pre-start part where designers and companies and partners, everybody can exchange the ideas on the inspiration. So it's a kind of focus group, marketing resource, etc. And then at the end, it comes up to production. So it's an industrial view of the ecosystem. Of course, the same approach can be developed to more to the left part now of the supply chain, so the creative part. But yet we didn't do it now. So we can probably partner with some other people that are better on the creative digitalization part, and we have very powerful tools and experience to connect the designs to the real business, up to factories, up to planning development, on-demand development, and then below all this digital stuff, there is big data analytics and artificial intelligence, and also high technology that helps optimizing the interaction of different partners inside this digital environment. So this is what we do basically.
Yeah, definitely, you have some valid points, and really going forward is exactly what I'm trying to say now. How to see how we could position your platform, and in order to create some kind of visibility in the African value chain, especially creating awareness that these tools exist. And this is how you could use it to create some kind of 3D effect, and in this kind of scenario, or in fashion,
exactly,
shoe production, because because right now digital innovation helps products, to get into the market quickly, and we need to create this awareness. And because Africa, when we talk about fashion, shoe manufacturing, it's got very huge industry in this. And when what Obi is citing Aba. Probably you don't know, Aba is a town in Nigeria that is actually the ecosystem of shoe manufacturing in the country. You understand what I'm trying to say? So
it's great to know. Yeah, sure.
If I'm even correct, probably in Africa, because
yeah,
wow,
yeah, exactly. So I will come back to you then. Probably in the next meetings we are going to have. Then we'll see how your platform could be positioned, and it creates a lot of yes, and that is.
So very happy to discuss it. Yeah, and for business environment, we are totally ready, and well, we can start tomorrow. No, but just the creative part has to be thought separately, because it's not this is running on a bit different rules, no, than the industrial digitalization.
Exactly. So I go now to Spain, Vetway. You had a very beautiful, very interesting platform for 3D events platform. And how do you see your collaboration with Africa going forward? Because already in December, we are hosting, ADNet will be hosting 2 days digital carnival. And of course, the advert will be out soon. And Vetway could be a focal point here. Daniel, please.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot today, actually, as far as like, you know, how Vetway can be integrated into this. And Andre spoke a bit about it as well, the technologies there and meeting these creative people. I mean, I said our partner program is a lot of time what makes or breaks our events. And we're looking to extend further into Africa. And have different countries in Africa. We have partners in Egypt and in South Africa, I think. And then we have a couple French partners that do quite a few events with different African communities. There's an event in the making just now. I can't give all the details yet, but it's for 3,000 people. So this is just the way to show you can bring multitudes of people together in our platform. Obviously, if the electricity goes off, that is going to be an issue. But, you know, we've all been able to sit here the same that you would do in any virtual event that we're doing here on Zoom. That can be done in the platform. But as far as the creative industry that goes, like the sky is the limit in the virtual world. You know, for the most part, we have a lot of the base scenes, but we have product showrooms. We've had Suzuki and Izuku. They've done their cars. So they passed over, they did 3D images of their cars. We put that into the product showroom and people would come in and it's interactive, right? So you can click on it. So it's just like going to buy a new car. And that's linked to their website. And people were buying cars, choosing the color, choosing the interior. They were choosing what they wanted to buy in the virtual world. So apply that with furniture, apply that with even we've worked with some like film producers as well, and they do kind of like sneak peeks, previews, or kind of like mini red carpet events for up and coming presentations. So it's just to go back again, like there's not a limit here. And as far as learning the technology, either working with our partners or becoming a partner yourself and being able to be that person that provides this service for more people in Africa.
Okay, thank you very much. So we look forward to using your platform in December.
It's going to be great.
And of course, that creates a lot of visibility, creates a lot of awareness on 3D events organization. And going back to Tunisia, Fold, what is really missing in Tunisia in terms of readiness?
In fact, I think today we are all talking about 3D, AI, etc. But this is based on the content. So we need the content to have digital content, and to have digital content, we already need to our creator be aware that they need to develop digital content, so we can use then this digital content to add some layer of intelligence and layer of AI, etc., etc. So this is, I think, also a very big challenge to know that when we talk about these kind of layers of intelligence, then we need a digital or to have digital data and to digitize and to have data and to base everything on data, because everything is data today. So so I think that's why I tried to add this part, because of course today it's good to have platforms. Even I saw people from Nigeria that they have platform, streaming platform, etc. But we need then to move forward and start talking about data, and then expanding this experience, these Nigerian people experience, or even from Ghana, etc., etc., and then build a kind of oriented business, data-oriented business. And this is, I think, kind of how we can look forward, and to not, of course, we said all that creativity in Africa, we have creativity in Africa, we have a lot of creators in Africa. Then we need to digitize to have this data by platform, by connecting, by marketplace, by etc. But then we need also to move to the next level, which is the intelligence and the AI. And then, and I'm sorry for Martian to say that we need to go to Europe and to sell in Europe, to sell in USA, and to sell in China. And we can't do this, I think, without intelligence. That's why this is kind of things I think we need to be kind of to look big, let's say.
Okay, thank you very much. All what you have all contributed today, they are very valid, and ADNet has been the African Digital Leadership Network is a new platform that is just being created in 2020, and we hope to keep this discussion going. And on our platform, we are forming different communities of sectors. Creative industry is one of them. Smart city is also part of this. And of course, we intend to keep this discussion going on platform on the ADNet. So from time to time, we'll keep in touch and to see how we could create some links for everybody in order to keep this discussion going in Africa. And at the same time, I'm just a little bit curious. Kayode, you have a very good platform, really. And I was just trying to understand from your own perspective, what were the main issues you encountered when putting this platform together? Is it on the capacity side or on the technical side?
Thank you, everyone, once again. The challenge in the beginning really wasn't, there was no problem with the technical side. The only, I'd say obstacle was access to people, like Nigeria, for instance. It's very difficult to find people that you need for jobs, So we had to find technical people, outside the country to design programs. But, not anybody in the permanent skill. So we have some, young boys that we are training that that do back-end support for us, so that eventually, they can handle the majority of the technical side of the as well. But really, obviously, like Mr. Obi said also, finding investors for this kind of idea was also very, very, that was one of the challenges that I came across as well. But which is why it was very important for us to have a minimum viable product, you understand, so that the site can earn something while offering a very vital service.
Okay, I think we are almost at the end of this session. So in a nutshell, just a concluding notes and probably a wrap-up suggestion in terms of moving forward. And I could probably just ask, what should be the actionable points of these discussions we have had today? in terms of what could be, how do we move Africa forward? You know, what should be the action points, which of course our platform is ready to support the ecosystem moving forward. We intend to keep the team, we keep the discussion going. And of course, we need actionable points as well. So in 1 or 2 sentences, what do you think? Probably I'll start with Mr. Obi Asika. Mr. Obi, please.
Did you ask me? Sorry.
Yes, please. What could be the actionable points from all what we have discussed today going forward?
Oh, I think, well, the number one thing is collaboration, right? I think that's the number one thing is collaboration. The number two thing is for the creators not to be afraid to embrace digital, because sometimes people have a sort of phobia for the digital space and innovation. And then number 3 thing is to sort of look beyond your immediate space. You know, wherever you're sitting, the world is actually literally your marketplace. You know, and the 4th thing, which goes specifically to what Audrey is talking about, is we need to build marketplaces. We need digital marketplaces to be able to monetize the creative products that we are generating. And this goes way beyond streaming platforms, because when we talk platforms in Nigeria, everybody thinks we're talking Netflix and music. We need e-commerce platforms. We need design platforms. We need service platforms. We need supply chain platforms. We need to connect digital marketplaces so that we can actually see each other and be discoverable. If we can do that, I think we're in good shape.
Okay. And you have mentioned platforms, and how do you see an ecosystem of freelancers, tech freelancers?
Well, 100%. I mean, my hub is focused on that sort of stuff. I have a program with driving called ICE, to Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship, and that's really to prepare people to work for the gig economy. My sister ran a program out of Lagos for 10 years, trained about 15,000 people who are all working. I think at the end of the day, if you put skills in the hands of people, they will work. There are no jobs, there are no 9-to-5 jobs waiting for anybody. So you have to create people who can work in freelance, who can give them skills where they can deliver for themselves. And that's where the jobs of the future are, whether it's in the creative industries, whether it's in the innovation industry, across any sector in Nigeria and worldwide. You know, if I have a kid in my village who's making $200 a month doing graphic design on Fiverr for somebody in wherever. In fact, yesterday, my friend was telling me that his ex-wife, well, which is a different story, but his ex-wife has a virtual assistant in Onitsha, which is like my hometown. And this lady's earning $200 a month, right? Running virtual assistant for like 6 people. I'm like, she must be looking like a superstar. She has no cost, no overhead. She's sitting at home. Yeah. You know, so the thing about it is, I think we just have to see beyond. Technology enables you to go beyond wherever you are. Exactly. And I think that's the key to the whole thing.
Exactly. Okay. And from Lynn Bahati, please. Concluding.
So I definitely think we need to create more platforms. For example, I know one in Kenya has a platform. It's called Skillshare. So this is a group of people. Can you guys hear me? Okay. It's a group of people. It's a group of people. This is a platform where a group of people with different skills meet and are able even just to improve what they already have. And then I also think we just need to keep the conversation going. The more we talk about it, the more it's engraved in people's heads. And then we're just going to start moving forward and trying to learn. I've learned a lot from this. Now I have some homework to do. So if we keep the conversation going, then we are also educating and, you know, making some noise for people to get into this same space. Also, from my end, collaborate with local artisans, people who are unable to access the internet or access these platforms while we are lucky. I think if you collaborate with them, someone in the village, and then you're bringing their art forward, eventually you're making people know there's something bigger than just the towns and where the internet is, and then you're pushing it further deeper to everyone else to access it. Yeah.
Thank you. And Blessing, please.
Okay, so for me, I would say more on education improvement, capacity improvement, improving on what we know and how we know it, and maybe trying to continuously learn. So from what my colleague I just said, in the hub, we try to work with those designers that ordinarily they can't access the global market. So I was able to connect a designer to do a production for a UK brand. Ordinarily, she wouldn't have gotten that maybe connect, but because 360 is sitting at the center of maybe an aggregator, so they reached out to us. And we reached out to designers and said, can you do this? And we have lots of them. I have about 100 designers working virtually and physically in the hub. So this is just people that I can interact with. So I just say, okay, if you are playing in this sector, swimwear, let me see your design. And we sent in our product brochure, and they just say, okay, we want to work with this person. And the designer is working and, earning money that it wouldn't have done. So we need to be able to now increase awareness, build more capacity on ground, because we need people to know how to do things that can sell globally. Another thing is digitalization. How do we make designers or creative people understand that you need to tell your story so that people can hear about you, which platform to use, understanding how that platform can help you grow and all that. So knowledge in digitalization, playing in that field, growing collaboration will be the way forward.
Okay. And thank you. And Marcin, please, any concluding remarks?
I think it's difficult because I think that if we try to make this discussion should be done on the different levels. First, the level is the question technical accessibility, immersing in the technology. This is very important. So my remarks, okay, let's make a platform, but platform for what? We are in the times of the number of platforms, tools. When I look on the solution for the management of the project management, I can find 1,000 of the tools. Everyone try to convince me it's better. That's why I a little bit agree, Obi, about the disruption made of the social media. And that's why I think the biggest challenge is to how can we create people to work together, to share the information, how can we attract the government, because the development will be always connected to the policy, national policy or the regional policies as well. So how can we bring the decision makers to support, to listen to the people, not to only to show them direction and go follow us. So this is the challenge, because otherwise we will focus only to fulfill demands and the requirements of the businessman. This is not only the digital immersion is not only about the business. It's also the social impact, which could be the part as a Obi said, or I don't mention about the number of the festivals in Nigeria. Yes, this is the biggest number of the festivals in Nigeria. This is also the business, but also this is the social aspect. Yes, social aspect. So I think that's this is the first challenge. This is the first level. Second level is the question of visibility. Africa as a country, or as a place, not countries, as a place of the digital opportunities, creative opportunities. Not only place, for example, for manufacturing of shoes for the big labels. Because I see in Poland is one of the biggest manufacturer for example, for Germans, but this is not creating the spillover This is the question of spillover. If you have the IP rights, IP rights, we can create the companies, like in spillover, we can create the companies upon all the IPs, not to only look for the competition based of the low margin or low cost of production, but also the visibility of the place when you create the global value solution, global value value products. I was very surprised that in Bucharest, in Romania, I was invited to some big conference, and the guy from England said that the first mobile application that ever brought some money, out of the market, it was done in Kenya, not in the USA, not in the Europe. It was done in Kenya. Yeah. If you look at the way of development, the banking system in Africa, you will see that it's ahead, 1 mile ahead of the rest of the world. Yes. Why? Because in Africa, people should fulfill the gaps or fulfill the requirements and to face the situation. That's why it's a question of creativity, shifting the creativity. So I really try to find out how can you or we can create the base also by the ADL in that activities to help to create the sustainability of development, because in Poland we are lazy right now. After the 30 years or 40 years of development, we have a lot of companies. They're really lazy. What Obi said, okay, if I have incomes in Poland, why I should go outside? So we have the same situation. How can support the development of Africa? So I think it is no one remark. I think this is plenty of remarks and a long way trip. So I think that's if we can bring people together and we find out how can we use this, look for the synergy, it will be I think this is a big challenge.
Okay, thank you all. We are actually on time. We have spent 2 hours, 14 minutes now. So it's a concluding time. And I so much appreciate all your contributions. They are so much valuable. And of course, you join us as well on the ADNet platform in order to keep this discussion going, because we have contacts already from the North Africa, from West Africa, from East Africa, from the Southern Africa, and we intend to keep this discussion going forward. And of course, to be kind of discussions that should be realistic in order for us to keep the trajectory of the development in Africa in terms of exploitation of digital innovation in the creative industry. And with me is Marcin. Marcin is also a co-founder of ADNet, African Digital Leadership Network. He's always in touch with Africa. He has contacts. And of course, we have also from Tunisia, one of the co-founder is Mohamed Jamel, who is also a professor of digital innovation from Tunisia. And we saw the need to have this platform, ADNet, in place and to support how do we move really Africa forward in terms of supporting the economic and the social economic development of the continent. And we also realize that we need realistic discussions. And that's why we're having this session today. And of course, in December, next month, we also have a session on smart city, environment, and circular economy. And also September, October, we have different activities going on in terms of these discussions, as well also in the agricultural sector, the health sector. And in December, we come together to have our digital carnival, which Danielle platform is going to play a critical role. We want to create some kind of visibility in exploiting digital innovation for the social economic development as well in different sectors in Africa. Thank you so much for your time. This meeting, this event was recorded. You're going to have probably on our YouTube page, and also you're going to have a copy. Thank you so much, and we'll keep this discussion going on the ADNet platform. You'll be having the login to support these discussions, so we're going to send to you, and we keep this discussion going forward. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next session, and of course on the platform. Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.